Well, nothing quite fucks up a week like getting one of these bad boys in your mail. Real property valuation. Let's talk about it. So I'm assuming by now, a lot of you guys have gotten this in the mail and you've got a question because there's a very large number in here that is different from the number that says prior. And I'll show you guys mine just to kind of give you an example of what I'm looking at. But if you can see in there, you're talking almost a $212,000 difference between the prior assessment and now. So I kind of wanted to go over what's happening, things that you guys may be able to do to offset this and kind of put hopefully some minds at ease as far as, it is a sticker shock, but I think there's some misunderstandings that are happening as well. So Colorado reassesses property taxes every 2 years on the odd year, and they reassess it at a certain assessment rate. Normally, we're at about a 7.15. If you guys actually see this here in Douglas County, we're at a 6.77, which is lower than what it was last year. The big thing is people are looking at this and going, hey, I bought a house in 2020. It was not priced at $730,000. I bought it for $540,000. What is happening? Well, in order to assess property values, you can go about it one of two ways. You can go out and spend, as a government, $700 per house for an appraisal on every individual home to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. Or you go through and you take market data across a 2-year time frame, in which case we're looking at 2020 to 2022, July to June to be specific, and say property values on average went up this percent. That is now what I'm going to use as a real property valuation. So remember, these taxes will show up in 2024 because property taxes are paid in arrears for the previous 2 years. Now, what people need to understand is the sales data they're using is legitimately July of 2020 through June of 2022. What happened during that time frame? The market went absolutely batshit crazy. We had record home price appreciation, and that's what the assessor's office is using to reassess what property values are in Colorado. Now, the real property value that you guys are seeing is one of 3 factors that determine how much you actually pay in property taxes. The other 2 being the assessment rate and then the mill levy, which can vary depending on what metro tax district you're in here in the Front Range in Colorado. So Colorado did see this coming and they did pass kind of a stopgap. It's not a permanent solution, but a temporary solution that basically reduced the assessed rate from over 7% to a 6.7% for 2023 and 2024, knowing that as that's part of the equation, it will help alleviate some of the property tax increases based on the real property valuation. And you can see that in you guys' little letter from hell that you got. So next obvious question is, what can you guys do? Well, there's 2 things in my head. Number 1, and you've probably seen it online if you're friends with any realtor, there's only 15,000 of us around here, is having somebody do what's called a comparable market analysis, which brings in comparable sales from around your home. You can then submit that as part of an appeals process by June 8th to the county assessor and essentially say, hey, my house isn't actually worth, in my case, $730,000, right? Because I couldn't actually sell it for $730,000 right now, just based on market conditions. I'm happy to do it for you for free. I know a lot of my other compadres are happy to do it for you for free. I don't know how successful it's going to be because you're essentially saying, I'm appealing this decision based on a set of data from the last 6 to 12 months, but the assessor's basing it on a set of data 2 years ago. So they don't really care, right? They're looking at it from, hey, this is when we assess, this is when property values increase. We got to figure out how to tax it. This is the data we're going to use. However, if you guys want that and you do want to submit an appeal, I am all for backing them up with paperwork and letting them go through hundreds of thousands of appeals until their freaking eyes bleed, just to kind of get back at them a little bit and make them feel some pain. So I'm totally good. So we can definitely do that. Second thing, in November 2023, pay attention to your ballots when you guys are voting, and more importantly, go out and vote, because there will be measures, and they are already working their way through the House to alleviate this increase in property taxes. Governor Polis put one through. There's a couple of different PACs in Colorado, including Advanced Colorado, that has something on the table that are all meant to either cap or eliminate or alleviate the property tax increase that we are going to see in 2024. But if we don't vote for it and it don't pass, that's what happens to the Gallagher Amendment. Look it up. That got appealed or repealed back in 2020, which essentially eliminated the cap on how much home valuation taxes, home property taxes can go up any given year. So I know it's a long video, a lot of information. I'm heading to a podcast here in a little bit to do an entire episode on this to kind of talk through it a little bit more in depth. But if you guys have questions, you can reach out to me, 720-584-3361. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I know it's a big number. I don't honestly believe there's a ton you're going to be able to do via an appeals process other than piss them off, which I'm totally okay with. But that is why those values look crazy, because they're essentially saying, hey, this is what this house would have sold within the time period that we are reassessing property values. So hopefully that helps. Hope you guys have a great, Wednesday. And I will talk to you soon.